Welcome to Mohawk Valley Vibes, the heartbeat of the Mohawk Valley. Each week we share inspiring stories, local flavor, and bring you the people who make our region shine. I'm your host, Gennaro DeLuigi, joined by my honorable co-host, Mayor Dana Sherry. Good afternoon and welcome to Valley Vibes. I'm Gennaro DeLuigi, and this is Dana Sherry.
Hi, everyone.
For those who don't know Dana, Dana is the mayor of Herkimer, and she has a great pedigree. We just found out that Dana is like incredibly endowed with genes that go all the way back. I mean, to the Pilgrims and even to the line of David. This is a girl who's researched her ancestry, and she has determined that she's actually a card-carrying Mayflower descendant on her father's side.
Yes, I am. And a member now of the Mayflower Society of the U.S. and of New York State, which allows me to be able to go to the Mayflower Ball in New York City. That's exciting.
At Dana's middle-age level, she's a debutante.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
She's going
so I've got to start searching for a gown.
All right, you're going to the ball.
And a crown.
You're going to be coming down the stairs.
Yes, I'm going to make my descent.
You're just...
Yeah.
Do they still do that?
I don't know. I'll do it, though.
I think they do it in
it.
like real like highfalutin social circles like the Blue Book and the Hamptons.
Yep.
With those people.
Well, there are the silver books in Mayflower descendants.
You could hang out down in the Hamptons.
I'm gonna go.
They'd give you like some royal treatment.
All right.
You think?
Sangria, the royal blood.
Ah.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty
idea.
interesting. And then of course there's Tony right there, and JJ's coming to get you. Okay. Our guest is coming in the door. I'm pointing to him to get in.
This way. Airline strip.
That way, Tony. Tony Morali has just come into the studio, and we were indicating to him which way to go. And I'm sad that he missed our Mayflower conversation.
Well, we can bring it up again because he might be interested.
He's going to be interested. Yeah. But beyond that, Dana is the mayor of Herkimer. Yes. And she is a first-term mayor right now. Mm-hmm. I don't know if she's made her decision about whether she's going to go for a second term or not. I hesitate to ask her if she's ready to make that announcement, though. She'll make that announcement here.
Absolutely.
But
when
I'm not
ready.
When she's ready. I'm not going to press her on that at this point.
No, thank you.
Okay.
Appreciate that.
You're welcome, man. But so we have royalty. And because royalty is here, and I'm not, we have
Tony?
double royalty.
You mean Tony?
Double royalty is in Mr. Morali, who's joining us in the studio. But Dana's Plymouth Rock royalty.
Yes.
A Mayflower descendant. I am flabbergasted by this.
Me too, actually. It took me long enough to do the research. I mean, through Ancestry, through my heritage. And my father he wasn't an orphan. He had a mom. He didn't know his dad. But actually, it turned out to be on my grandmother's side. So her father's mother, all the way on up to John Alden, Priscilla Mullins, and even beyond that.
Now, John Alden is one of the major authors of the Mayflower Compact.
Yes.
And the Mayflower Compact was based on the Magna Carta. Mm-hmm. And it was the first document written in these colonies that enshrined democracy.
Yes.
Right? Yep. And later became a model for, eventually the Constitutional Convention, but first the Articles of Confederation.
Very good, Jer.
Yeah.
You did your research.
No, I just know that. I was a history teacher.
Good. Oh, yeah, that's right.
That's right. And those things you remember. And speaking of history, today's a historic day.
It is.
It's Juneteenth.
Tell us about it.
Today,
briefly.
Well, listen, no, it also became a national holiday in 2021. Mm-hmm. And it celebrates the signing of the Emancipation Proclamation.
Yes.
Just love saying that.
I do too.
Emancipation Proclamation. And you know what a proclamation is?
I do.
That's like your mayor.
I make many
so
proclamations,
you make many proclamations
in the village.
right?
Yes.
So it's an official
It is.
government statement.
Yep.
Right? Regarding a certain issue.
Yep.
And it's the emancipation, which is of slavery.
Yep.
Emancipated the slaves. That's
fantastic.
what it was. And so we celebrate, which is a very rightful, listen, slavery was a very divisive economic, social, and political constraint of the United States for a very long time.
Right.
Caused a lot, and there's still a hangover from it,
Yep.
obviously, because we still haven't overcome the hangover.
Right.
So it's important to recognize these days, and that's why it is a national holiday. And Juneteenth it is.
Happy Juneteenth.
Happy Juneteenth, and thankful for the Emancipation Proclamation, which was announced in Texas.
It was. I didn't know that.
Yeah, in Texas. Yeah. Yep. Did you believe that?
Appropriate.
A free state.
Right.
Right? The
Yes.
freest of the free.
Yes.
Texas.
It's fantastic.
Love it. Its own
Me too.
republic.
Yep.
The Republic of Texas. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You've seen the flag.
Don't mess with Texas.
Don't mess with Texas. Yeah. So that's, and Utica does have some activities for it. There's a flag racing and a cultural festival. I'm not quite sure where it is, but there's music, food, and historical exhibits. So if you want to participate in Juneteenth stuff,
Celebration.
look it up probably in the OD and WKTV somewhere, tell you where to go. And
I'm sure, yeah.
go do that. Herkimer County holds discussions in different quarters.
Okay.
That's what I've been told.
Okay.
Madison County features art showcases on Black history. And all of these events draw diverse crowds honoring the emancipation and promoting regional inclusivity.
That's great. Wonderful.
Yeah. So we'll take that.
Yes.
So
happy
since we're talking about news from the area, though, Chobani is still in the news, but the Rome City School District, they're not with it, dude.
Why?
The Rome City School District was supposed to do a pro forma vote to accept the pilot program for Chobani,
Okay.
and they tabled it. They want to discuss whether or not the pilot program for Chobani is worth it.
That seems like a no-brainer to me.
And the deal that's on the table, they're going to put up, I forgot how many millions it is, the first 3 years, and then it goes on like to the regular sky. I mean, the school district is going to get more money under this proposed plan than they ever would have gotten without Chobani, and they want to think about it.
So what's the rub then? What's the problem?
Well, because it's a tax reduction, and so it's going to be less taxes for Chobani, like overall.
Right.
And they think that Chobani should be charged the full shot.
That's not. I mean, I would.
Well, that's foolish leadership.
Yeah, it wouldn't be my choice. I mean, something as grand and amazing as that, I would think to offer them something.
It's not like the Wolfspeed or the Danfoss situation where people are coming in from out of town, taking advantage of a pilot program, spending down the money and running. Okay,
Right.
That's not what this is. Chobani has been in Oneonta, in that area, since its inception. They're making an enormous investment here, not only in Griffiths, but in the adjoining infrastructure. Because I told you, $26 million in agricultural grants in Oneida, Herkimer, and Madison County, mostly for dairy farming. Why do you think so?
It's amazing.
Why would you think that would happen, though? Because there's a catalyst. The catalyst is
course.
Chobani
Yes.
needs milk.
Right.
You can't produce
Right.
yogurt without milk.
No.
Okay.
And the yogurt is fantastic. I love it.
So our dairy farmers just got a huge shot in the arm.
I know.
Right?
Yep.
And not only that, there are spinoffs of that too. Spinoffs of the dairy industry all over
Right.
the place. Okay?
It's a good deal.
So it's a good deal. So I would say for whatever you're dealing with in Rome City School District and the problem, because I know they have financial issues. They do. They have financial issues.
Everybody does.
Right. Theirs are a little bit more pronounced.
Okay.
I won't get into them,
Okay.
but they are a little bit
Yeah.
more pronounced. But I would say to them, and this isn't about the mayor or anybody, although
No.
whatever him, but This is about the school district, and they need to get their butts out of their ass. And because if I'm Chobani, I'm sitting back, I'm saying, oh, they don't even want us here.
No, it should be a no-brainer.
You know? So
You would think.
listen up, Romans. Listen up. Push your board members and tell them, yes, you want Chobani.
I agree.
100%. Otherwise, you won't get your little field house.
Chobani can come to Herkimer, though, if they're interested.
They come to Utica, and I'm sure they
We've
come
got-
to Utica too, right?
Yep.
And speaking of Utica, last time we were on the air, we couldn't really go over because we were on the air, but New Harbor Point.
Yes. It's looking great. I was there this morning. It's
Well,
beautiful.
isn't it really nice?
Yes.
It is a peaceful space, right?
Yeah.
So I was working on my book the other day, and I stopped there in the parking lot.
Yep.
And I said to myself, wow, this is serene.
A new spot to work.
And I saw people fishing,
I saw him kayaking this morning.
some kayakers, right? So people are getting used to the harbor being there.
Right.
I mean, we have a harbor in Utica.
It's great. And
That's
he's
pretty
going to
freaking
bring
cool.
development in there too, isn't he?
Yeah,
He
oh
said?
yeah,
I thought he said hotels.
There's a lot. Well, the hotels were announced. I don't know how far away we are from the hotels, but the retail is coming sooner.
Did they say which retail?
No, it's going to be a series of shops.
That's great.
And I would imagine they would be, I would think they should be outlets, personally. My opinion is that I like Tangiers. I know you don't. We've talked about this before. You think it should be more boutique. I understand. And I don't have a problem with boutique either. But I'm okay with the outlets too because of where we're located. See, Utica's on the thruway,
Right.
right? So
The next closest one would be
Would
either
be-
Woodbury Commons towards the city.
Well, Woodbury
or
Commons or
Waterloo.
Lake George. Well, no, Lake George.
And Waterloo has them too.
And
but
Waterloo
they're
has
low.
them in Lake George.
Yep. Yep.
So
But they're all the same.
they
except
are, but they're
for-
far away from each other.
Right. But as a person who used to like to hop outlets, you know, Woodbury Commons is the one that has like Saks Fifth Avenue.
You can't get a parking space.
I don't even care. I'd walk 5 miles if I could get into Tory
I
Burch
would
or
walk
to Nordstrom's
500
Rack
miles.
or yes. See, that's the one that I would drive to. Now, you know,
I have
Waterloo,
been
Lake
there
George have
several
the same
times.
ones.
Well, yes, but I mean the main ones they all have.
Yes.
I mean they have Ralph Lauren, they
Yep.
have Reebok, they have you know the main ones are
Coach.
there. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And but the one in Lake George during the summertime
yeah, they're busy.
is overrun.
Yes.
You know, and we have summer traffic here. We have Old Forge, which brings
Right.
a lot of people to this area during the summer.
Yeah, we're the gateway to the Adirondack.
Right,
So,
and with the harbor now.
yeah.
And so I think that harbor will drive a lot of tourist business. And this year leads me to my next point that Oneida County Tourism released their 2025 destination guides, and they're showcasing the Erie Canal and family-friendly events along the canal trail,
That's great.
right? So promoting the Erie Canal,
Yeah.
the harbor,
Yeah.
right? So tourism is alive and well here.
You can take the Little Diamond in Herkimer.
Herkimer has the little diamond.
We have the Little Diamond.
Used
and
to have
that's-
the little diamond too, which I preferred was bigger.
Yeah, but
But
this
we lost Jerry though.
we did. We lost Jerry.
Captain Jerry.
Captain Jerry. He was a character.
Oh, he was.
He was a hugger.
Did we? Oh, yeah. Did we ever play taps for him?
I don't think so. Do it. I can't sing. I could play a clarinet though very well still. From fourth grade.
Poor Captain Jerry has
I
gone
know,
on
I'm
to
sorry.
see
Captain Jerry.
Neptune.
Yep. But that's a really cute cruise. You can bring cocktails with you on the cruise.
But it is a rather small boat now.
It is.
it about 45, 50
I would say 45, 50, yeah.
capacity?
We did go for my reunion. We had a little boat cruise and had some cocktails a couple years ago, and that was fun. But yeah, it's something to do. Something people may not even know, even living there. They drive right by it. They haven't even been.
And of course,
So-
Rocky has the restaurant there. So
Rocky.
you can take the Little Diamond and you can then come into the Waterfront Grill and you can enjoy a meal.
And you can go to Gems Along the Mohawk, which has beautiful Herkimer diamond
Herkimer
jewelry
diamonds,
there.
yeah.
And then it's a taste of New York in there too, I believe. So, or the Valley. So they have representation from all different places across New York, and that is an actual welcome center. So if you get off exit 30 and go straight,
Yep.
you're going to head right into Gems Along the Mohawk, Little Diamond, and Waterfront. And you can make a day of it.
And it's
actually.
busy during the day.
It's busy.
You can't find parking spaces there during the day.
No.
They come all the way up to the dirt.
Yep.
Yep. And so Herkimer does have that.
It's a nice
of
attraction.
Course, you've got your infrastructure grants and you have your DRI.
Yes.
And everything's going well in Herkimer now.
Yep. And our BOA grant, Brownfield Opportunity, that was.
So are you going to tell us about what buildings are going to be repurposed? Are you going to give us a hint? Was there a building that came back to you recently that you didn't think you were going to have to be able to influence, but you can influence it now?
It not officially yet, but it is in the works. Are you talking about what I think you're talking about?
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. So that's in the process of happening.
Please, let's tell us.
I will say what's happening there first on this show, 100%.
Promise?
Yeah. Oh yeah. But
because I
know it's pretty big. It's going to be.
But it's a fulfillment of my prediction from
really
3
is.
years ago.
It is,
right. I mean,
yes.
What is going to happen was laid out step by step by step.
Yes.
By JGK Strategic 3 years ago.
Yep.
And it has not failed.
No, and it's going to be wonderful for Main Street and for our community. It's definitely, and the state. I mean, it's going to be a great.
Well, that's what we know because we're talking about tourism.
Right.
Why don't you guys think about making a day of it? And maybe on this podcast, we'll put together a brochure that the Oneida County Tourism doesn't even think about doing, which gives you a tour of all the little gems along the way.
I think that's great.
Right? Maybe we could put a brochure together that's endorsed by us, and we'll put our businesses that support us in there.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Right? So we'll put the businesses that support us in there. We'll put it online. We'll put it in paper copy. We'll distribute it to wherever it goes. And if there's a sponsor out there that wants to pay for it, I'll put you on as the main sponsor, and we will advertise the crap out of all the touchstones along the Erie Canal.
Some of the big touchstones that people really like are the flea markets, the antiques. We have a beautiful in the old Mungers building, which is renewed and rescued, and that I think we should show where all the little places that want to go on an antique trail.
Right, we'll do our own map.
All of them
We
included.
can do different kinds of trails.
Yes, we can go from Otsego County all the way to Oneida County.
When you're
through Herkimer.
leaving from here at the harbor, what you can do to go north.
Yep.
All right, you can go south. You can go everywhere. So there is a reason for a lot of excitement on the tourism front.
There is.
And I think because we're Mohawk Valley Vibes, we're going to have to give people the vibe, right?
Right.
The tourism vibe.
Yes.
So we're going to work on this, you and I.
Yes. I mean, I off the top of my head know where all the antique places are and all the
and I know where all the watering holes are.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. We can count on you for that, for sure.
Right? So we can do that, right? So we're going to do that.
We marry them together, and you take little breaks and have a cocktail, Aperol Spritz, go to the next.
Of course.
Hugo Spritz, go to the next.
And we can endorse those locations.
We can.
We'll endorse every single one of them.
I think it's a great idea.
And,
there's a lot of hidden gems.
And we need a sponsor. Renee Shaldo. You out there?
No.
Renee Shaldo. You have gems along the Mohawk.
She does.
So why don't you step up to the plate, Renee? Come on, she could step up to the plate. Just for printing.
Maybe. We'll see.
You know?
Yep.
Or if there's a printer out there that wants to step up to the plate, we'll do the design.
We have a great printer in Herkimer, Bob Kritzer.
I think we should approach him.
He does all of our work in Herkimer.
Well, there you go.
Everything for our grant process.
Well, if he does everything for that, then he should give back.
Hopefully. Yeah, he does. Right. He really does.
All right, so let's have you back. We found a printer.
All right, we'll see what he says.
I know.
He can be ornery sometimes.
But he can't be ornery to you.
Maybe.
Because you're a Mayflower descendant.
I am a Mayflower descendant.
You can come in and
I'll wear my pilgrim shoes.
And also related to the House of the Seven Gables, right?
That's right.
You also
The Ingersolls.
The Ingersolls, like the Salem witch trials, right? So
Yep.
you'll put a hex bag on him.
I'm going to put my witch's hat on and my pilgrim shoes and go visit all these people to see if they'll sponsor us.
You have to do that.
And my magician's outfit.
And
for
we'll have
Herkimer.
JJ come and take pictures of you doing it. It'd be hilarious. Then we'll do a montage on here.
All right.
That'd
I'm
be
game
great.
for anything.
You're game
You
for
know
anything?
that.
Well, I hope you're all game for anything because we have Tony Morali in the studio.
definitely
So we're
game
going to
for
take our
Tony.
first break from our banter.
Okay.
And then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about the Riverlofts project.
Exciting.
Very exciting.
Yeah.
Lifestyle changing opportunity here in Utica.
My kind of place.
Can't wait to come back and talk about it. And we'll have Tony will share some stories too from back in the day down in the city.
Okay.
All
Looking
right.
forward to it. Yep.
Looking forward to it. All right. We'll see you on the other side of the break. Good afternoon again, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to segment 2, or the B block, as they say in the business here. I don't know what business, but I've heard.
I was going to say, what business is that?
Well, no, it's in the broadcast. It is B block in the broadcast
Okay.
business. But so we're back with B block, and we have D block with Dana. We already had that.
Yeah.
And now we have T block.
Love it.
All right, with Tony. Tony's with us. Tony Morali, local, local New York City developer who's spent an awful lot of time in Utica, has been on the show before, developer and architect of the Riverlofts project on Oriskany Boulevard and Whitesboro Street here in Utica. Transformational project that is progressing at a very good clip right now. And there's a lot of buzz going on. And Tony's going to add to that buzz in just a little bit. And he's going to give you the whole lay of the land, the history of how we got here and where we're going with Riverlofts. So I'm just going to be quiet and let Tony do what he normally does, which is spin a great yarn about
Yep.
the Riverlofts.
Yes.
So where it all started, huh?
Yep.
Yeah.
Started in the Bronx. That's where it started. The inspiration came from the Bronx, growing
Okay.
up in the neighborhood, and in those days, basically just seeing buildings burn. So, you're about 5 years old, 6 years old, and you start seeing a building burning every day. And then you turn around and say, why are these buildings burning? They're beautiful structures, and then you find out due to politics, due to other crises, we needed to recreate ourselves again and reinvigorate these old structures that were beautiful. And it was really nuts that, sometimes they would build over the railroad tracks, and at the same time, there was 1 million square feet on the left side of these beautiful brick buildings that were just collapsing. And that was, and then they started doing public housing, Mitchell Lama housing, where in the 60s, they built like about, I think 100,000 units.
What they called urban renewal.
What they call urban renewal. But, you say again to yourself, well, why are you building these shoe boxes on the left side when you have these beautiful, again, structures that could be, reinvented? And so that got me thinking. We had the shop down from Yankee Stadium. I used to go down 161st and Melrose, sneak into Yankee Stadium through center field, and watch the game from, what they call the
bleacher.
Yeah, the bleacher creatures.
Yeah.
I guess I was a creature and a bleacher.
Guys had
Columns were in our way.
You guys had your own overhead door that used to sneak in over there.
Yeah, they had the overhead door from the right side.
I know.
We used to sneak in and out.
I know.
You throw the guy $1 and,
You're in.
it was the...
Because nobody sat in the bleachers in those days.
Yeah, I mean, that's where you learn the art of the Duke. The Duke meaning, La Busta in Italian, where, you give a little gift on the side.
Well, La Busta, hold on.
Busta.
For those of you who are not Italian out there, I have to translate. La Busta is the envelope, okay? And there's only one thing that goes in La Busta, and that's cash.
A
Yep.
little escarole.
Yep.
Oh, it's got all La
Green
Busta.
leaves.
Yes.
Nowadays, when you go to an event, you start at $250 a person. Imagine
But
it.
it was great. Us young kids, we didn't have that much money, $1 here, $1 there. Throw it to the security. He signals to the other guy, who signals to the other guy, and all of a sudden you find yourself a seat, and it was good.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Yeah.
And that was Yankee Stadium back in the day. They weren't that good then, They were okay. Horace Clark, Gene the Stick Michael, those days.
Oh, Celerino Sanchez.
Celerino Sanchez. Yeah. But we had Mel Stottlemyre. And then
You had Jim Mason.
Yeah.
Jerry Kenny,
At least, oh my God.
Bobby Mercer.
Bobby Mercer was my hero.
Mine too.
He came out of Oklahoma, I think.
Yep. Only two things kind of come out of Oklahoma.
Well, Bobby Mercer. And what else? Potatoes?
What's the other thing?
No, don't you remember for the line from An Officer and a
yes,
Gentleman?
I do.
Only
No.
two things come out of Oklahoma.
Wait.
Steers and queers.
Oh,
I don't see the
yeah.
horn, so you must be the...
Oh,
Oh, that used to be one of my favorites.
That was Lou Gossett Jr. Guy's a
Yeah.
genius.
Yeah.
yeah.
Fantastic. One of my favorite lines. Anyway, I
And then
digress.
after Bobby Mercer was Don Mattingly. He was our hometown hero.
Of course.
And then finally we got to the,
Remember
Yankees.
Mike Pagliarulo?
Oh, yeah. Mikey Pags. He was friends with Kevin from Heaven.
Yeah, and he was from
Kevin
Massachusetts.
from Heaven.
Yeah, Kevin. Then
Oh,
they used
Kevin.
Kevin passed
They
away.
call
I
him
know,
the
I remember
Medford
Kevin.
Mala.
Huh?
The Medford Mala.
Yeah. Third base, right?
Third base.
Yeah. Then he was down in Florida. Yeah. Kevin, matter of fact, Pags. If you're listening or somebody knows Pags, he should call in. You know what I mean?
He's been here to Utica. The Yankees used to play in the Cooperstown game.
Oh, nice.
And they would come up, and we went. We had some inside information. Actually, JJ's uncle, Mark, was a police officer at the time, and he told us that the Yankees were coming. The Yanks are coming, right? They were going to be down at the Sheraton, which is now the Marriott Bonvoy, and so we made sure we were there when they came in, and they were we met all of them. We met Rick Cerrone.
Oh, Rick
we met
Cerrone.
Don Mattingly. We met Mike Pagliarulo.
Right.
And a great conversation with Gene Monahan, the trainer.
The trainer.
Right. And I'll never forget this. I had a Ralph Lauren shirt on, and he had the same one. And he sought me out. He said, "You must have good taste. We got the same damn shirt." Yeah. So then we sat down, and I was able to sit down at a table with Ron Guidry,
Right.
Rick Cerrone,
Oh, it's great.
Gene Monahan,
Louisiana Lightning.
and we talked about everything. I mean, these guys, when you think these ball players don't have memories about, they remember everything about every game.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I talked the year that I got my leg broken when I was left in Yankee Stadium, hit by a car outside.
Oh my gosh.
River Avenue. Yeah, 161st Street, River Avenue, right under the L.
River Road.
Yeah, I got whacked by a car.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it broke my leg. That was terrible time. But it was a Yankee playoff game. It was October 10th during the split season in '81, the first strike season.
Oh, wow.
They lost to Milwaukee in that playoff game, 3-1. And Rick Cerrone remembered it. Ron Guidry said to me, "Now you had to go and bring that up."
Yeah, right? Yeah.
You had to go and bring that game up. Yeah. So, but it was a terrible day for me. But yeah, I was able to talk about it with them. But so anyway, the Yankees. Yes.
Well, what the beauty of Yankee Stadium is that while the Bronx is burning, that was our last oasis. And if they never redid that stadium again, we had nothing. It would have been it. And so that was our holy grail. That was our place that, at least that place didn't burn.
Right.
And, it's kind of like
Stands.
Well, stands, it was associated to Yankee Stadium. If Yankee Stadium goes, stands goes.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yankee Stadium was the nucleus so that everything started recreating around the stadium.
In the market, terminal market.
And Bronx Terminal Market and everything like that. And that's great because the Yankee Stadium was on the Grand Concourse. Yeah. And so that was beautiful buildings from the 1920s.
Which absolutely divides the Bronx, that makes it impossible to get around.
That's kind of true. Well, that and the Cross Bronx Expressway.
It is. It's a joke. And when I try to go that way to Arthur Avenue, it's a joke. What I've learned to do is
Third Avenue.
Go up by Fordham Road.
Oh, Fordham Road. Yeah.
And come back the other way by the zoo.
Yeah. Go around the zoo.
Go around the zoo.
Yeah.
That's better.
Those are the ins and outs. You know.
Yeah.
What I mean?
I learned them by hook or by crook. I learned them.
Yeah. You got it. Yeah, that's a good thing.
You got to get to Arthur Avenue.
So that's kind of like Utica in a way, because Utica started retaining this nucleus with the sports stadium. You got to give Guy credit. What's his name? Mr. Esch.
Yeah.
You got to give him a lot of credit there because, once you start that nucleus, and even though things are regrowing or were degenerated, but now generating, that creates that nucleus that starts, all of a sudden things start growing and growing. You get your Harbor Point. You start getting Bragg Square over here. You start seeing the rehab of buildings, and all of a sudden things start growing from that central point. So it's really,
So
I'm
true.
very happy to see, this, as an outsider looking in, I was happy to see this Nexus Center going up. I'm happy to see some new buildings going and the rehabilitation of these existing buildings. And that's what got us into Riverlofts. That's what made us take over this converter building, which we saw as a great asset. And the more you look into the history of that building, that's why we called it Riverlofts, because I felt that the river, Mohawk Valley River, the Erie Canal, which bordered it at one time, and all that kind of stuff, is the essence of this city, is the main artery that supplies the city.
It's
like a
still the
blood
main
flow.
artery. If you're going east and west,
Right.
that's 5S
Right.
down there. That's 5A, which actually the name of that whole area, that whole is Revolutionary Trail, and it starts way.
right.
It starts way out in Albany.
Yep.
It comes all the way across, I think all the way to Buffalo. It's Revolutionary Trail.
But what I love about the river, and I think is going to be coming back stronger and stronger, is the essence really of water. I think water is going to be the new energy of the future. I believe that there are going to be people with water and the people without aquifers. And the people without water are going to be in trouble. Right now, everybody believes that, right now we fight wars and conflicts over oil and gas. And I think it's going to be passé in about 50 years. And I think the water is the essence for humanity and our lifestyle. And one of the regions that has the best water, or great water, and resources of water is this region.
This region. And of course, Tony, I think you're right on this 50-year thing. It really is insightful because when you think about even agriculture, hydroponics is going to supplant regular farming techniques. It has to. It's just much more efficient, and it's climate control. Right. So hydroponics, which requires water, right? Mm-hmm. And then hydrogen fuel cells. We talk about electric vehicles right now, and there's a lot of people that don't believe the electric vehicle in its current state is going to remain. That ultimately it's going to be hydrogen fuel cell that's going to drive our cars.
Right.
Yeah, you got to look at your body. Our bodies are made up of basically 70 or 80% water. Mm-hmm. We can't, eat oil.
Right.
We're not made of oil, plastics, whatever. Mm-hmm. But we are made of water, and water is the essential element for our existence.
Right.
And so you look at territories that have this water which grows vegetables and all that, water which is used for this and that, and those areas can thrive.
Right.
Sure.
And then there's other areas in the world that will desalinate. You have to utilize a lot of energy just to have semi good water.
Saudi Arabia desalinates.
Well, yeah,
and it's very expensive. It's
Very
extremely expensive process.
Yeah, and though they have billions of dollars and they try to replicate, the New York City look or whatever, the energy. That energy, you can copy an energy, but you can see that the culture has its own energy.
Right.
And what's nice is, we'll take Utica, for example, the vibe, the energy, you can start seeing it again. You see a spark becomes like a candle flame, the flame becomes bigger, and now all of a sudden that vibe, that energy is growing.
Right.
And it's a natural, it's not a bought energy, it's a made energy from the internal coming out.
Right.
And all the cities inside that try to replicate, they're kind of like fake. Yeah, you go there for a week or two, and after that, you're bored. You don't feel it. You know what I mean?
There are some cities that genuinely have embraced that.
Yeah.
That feeling, and it is a feeling, and I think you're right. It is coming to Utica. I think of Schenectady as a city that's trying to do that, and I don't know that they're having the same success that Utica is having. I think their turnaround economically is very much tied to their casino. Like that Waters Casino and Wide Waters Casino over there is really the driver there. It's not the neighborhoods.
Well, casinos, a form of money is a form of energy. That's how you have to look at money. I mean, and, the give and take of money, and people get, their endorphins and all their hormones get, played up because of a casino. But there's other ways of having a purpose in life.
Right.
It doesn't have to be through a casino or anything like that. It could be, through creativity, through the culture, the art forms, and the culture of food, the culture of painting, the culture of art, all of those things thrive and make a community.
And as you said, the athletics, the Comets, having been
Right.
the proof of concept here.
Yeah.
If Utica can now support an AHL team, which it couldn't before, that means that there's something going on here. It's done. It's changed. It went from not being able to being able to.
I mean, I just got too excited watching a woman in hockey over here. That was one of the best performances I've ever seen in my life. I mean, I went to that international professional hockey championships, and there's these beautiful, the ladies from Finland, Norway, and Sweden playing, North Korea, America, and Canada. And you see, and then looking at each other, I go, no, they're not going to hit each other. And then, boom, they're flying into each other. These girls are flying across the ice, and I'm like, wow, this is one of the best performances I've ever seen.
And
that was great.
The dovetail of that, Tony, is that those are international folks that visited Utica. So they leave here.
Oh, yeah.
Right? They leave here and they talk about the United States now, and they mention Utica. They didn't play in Madison Square Garden. They played in the Adirondack Bank Center. Where? In Utica. Cool. Right? Mm-hmm. So now there is a conversation outside of here.
Right.
About Utica because of that. And that is a function of what Ash did bring here. I mean, we can say what we want to say, but he did bring it here.
I'm hoping my friend Mickey Rourke is listening right now, because when he did the movie The Wrestler, I think they mentioned Utica in there.
I think you're right.
Yeah, The Wrestler that one battle was in Utica, New York.
Yes.
And Mickey's the wrestler. And my friend, I had a friend of mine, he was in the locker room. But anyway, Mickey, he's a character. God,
I used to have a huge crush on him.
Who, Mickey Rourke?
Mickey Rourke.
He's a character. He loves boxing. I think he's retiring this year. And he goes to me, one day, he goes, Tony, we got to just take this place. And I got this great boxing ring, red, white, and blue with the lights and everything. And what are we going to do? I go, no, Mick, what are we doing? Supper club boxing. I go, no way. Yeah, we'll put the ring in the middle and people be eating dinner. And we're just like, and, I guess that was the primitive essence of the first time,
it was very Romanesque.
Very Romanesque. And, but where it's grown to now is what I spoke about before. International women's hockey championships, multi-generational, the young kids that are coming here, 12 years old.
Playing the Nexus Center, sure.
With the scouts from Toronto and everything. But I just, Mick is a good guy.
He's made Utica an international city that Mickey Rourke would be proud of.
Mickey, he should come over here one day. I think he's in California right now, but he has his little dog.
Got little dogs, right?
Well, Lockie, what happened is that he had, it was Lockie, and the dog was a twin.
Oh.
Yeah, and when he won the Oscar, he had the picture of Loki, whatever the dog's name, on a picture of the dog on his neck. And the twin was we went away somewhere, and my daughter had to watch the other dog. And the other dog was on its last legs. It would walk sideways.
Aww.
And so we're on the phone. Mauricio's on the phone. He's like, Mickey, we're on the phone with Mickey, and he's like, how's, oh, God, what was the dog's name? Nina or something like that. Oh, she's doing good. And at that same moment, my daughter calls up. She goes, I lost a dog.
Oh.
I'm like, what?
You lost Mickey Rourke's dog.
She goes, she's young. She's like 12 years old. She goes, yeah, I lost a dog. So? And I'm like, what do you mean you lost the dog? I'm on the phone with Mickey right now, and he's asking me. He wants to call up.
Those dogs were like his children, right? He wants to talk to the
dog. She goes, he wants to talk to the dog? He talks to his dog? I goes, yeah, he talks to his dog. Well, she's like, I don't know where the dog is, and right now I'm busy. Click.
Oh, my
God,
and I'm like, no.
You got to be kidding me.
No.
I go, what am I going to do here? So, oh, my God. I mean, I was like, Maritza goes, what am I going to tell Mick? You lost a dog. I go, I saw. So they started posting signs around Bayside, Queens. Have you seen the dog and all this kind of stuff?
Oh, my gosh.
Make a long story short. Mauricio was banging his head that night. We went out to dinner. He couldn't even talk. He was like, his heart was broken. I can't tell Mickey I lost his dog. You better find that dog. The dog next door ate my dog, because it's a Chihuahua. It's a little, it fits in your pocket. You know what I mean? Anyway, this dog was half paralyzed, would walk sideways like this. And they tried to come back to the house because the lady it was, you know, it's like a neighborhood with the ladies are all curious about what's going
Oh,
on.
the watchdogs.
You know, the watchdog, old grandma.
Yep,
So
of
anyway, she
course.
saw the dog trying to knock on the door, but the dog, you know, was like, tick, 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 and
Yeah.
nobody got up. You know, and then it ended up going to the train station to go back home to the city. So the lady found the dog waiting for the next train. And she goes, I got your dog. And she brought the
Is this a
dog
joke?
home, and we got the dog. And
The dog was waiting. The dog
Wait,
must have been on the train a
wait.
lot.
the dog was waiting on the subway platform
No,
on the train station.
there's a dog, and I've seen one on YouTube
This
that
dog
takes
was
the
waiting
dog
on
to the
the
dog
platform.
park
I'm
every
not.
day.
Listen, you can't make up the
Tony.
story. Anyway, we found Mickey's dog. We got the chance to talk to the dog, and we're good.
Oh,
I don't even think
my.
Mickey knows exactly that we lost the dog.
I hope he's not
because-
Well, he
listening
knows
right
now.
now.
Well,
He's
maybe he
not
does.
listening.
Okay, no,
But that was back in the day. That
You know,
was
maybe
like,
Wow.
he's listening, or maybe you'll hear it on the YouTube channel.
yeah.
Maybe.
But he,
Yeah.
you know, when the Father Pete, well, I'll tell you who Father Pete is. Well, this is another Mickey story. Who is he engaged to? Anyway, he was brokenhearted, and he walks into Sacred Heart Church on 42nd. It was the Actors Church. And Mickey goes to Father Pete Colapietro, and he goes, Father, I want my last rites, the blessings, whatever. And he goes, why? He goes, because I'm going to kill myself. And Father Pete goes, what? He goes, wait a second, let me finish the mass. And he goes, what do you mean you're going to kill yourself? Yeah, I'm going to kill I'm heartbroken. We broke up. He goes, listen, I got a bottle of vodka upstairs. Father Pete was a former bouncer, and he was a good drinker. Colapietro.
Father
Wow.
Pete.
Yeah, Father Pete.
Okay.
So he goes, let's go upstairs and let's say. So they finished a bottle of vodka between the two of them over 3 hours. Mickey, he talked Mickey out of committing suicide. Mickey felt better. And every Christmas Eve, Mickey then would show up at Father Pete's Mass, the midnight Mass, Catholic midnight Mass, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
of course. Of course.
With his little dog. The dog, the Loki would be hidden in here. And because I remember Father Pete was giving out communion one day, and he gets a tap on the shoulder. And Father Pete goes, oh, no, he talks. Father Pete's giving the host, and he whispers in his ear. He goes, Father Pete, what do you got in the chalice? You got a little bit of the hard stuff in there? And he goes, the hell's, Mickey, get out of here, like this, so, he would show up no matter where he was filming, Moscow, Paris, wherever he was doing all those, he would show up for midnight mass for Father Pete. Father Pete passed away about 2-3 years ago, too. Yeah, he's a great guy.
I'll tell you, Mickey Rourke is responsible, or in part, for like my favorite movie of all time,
What? Which
The
one?
Pope of Greenwich Village.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's the single.
Charlie!
Charlotte, they took my thumb, Charlie.
That was right on Prince Street.
I put lime in his
That
coffee.
was Soho, Prince Street.
Bed
I thought
bug
you were going
Eddie.
to say he
Yeah,
gave the
Bed Bug
dog
Eddie.
a communion
Bed Bug Eddie.
wafer.
It was-
Are you kidding me?
yeah.
The dog was going to get a communion wafer while he was at mass.
Well, it was at
I
mass.
thought that's what he was.
Well, then he was going to take the chalice still
Yeah.
and lick it. Yeah.
No, he would always show up for Father Pete. Because Father Pete saved his life.
Now, Tony, I know we have more New York City stories, but we have to.
Go.
No.
We have to have you lay out what's going on at the River Lofts, what actually the vision is, where it's going. People have heard about it. They need to hear it from the horse's mouth. So start name
River Lofts?
the River Lofts.
Yeah. All right. So
How can they get one?
Well, this is a good question.
Yeah.
they should really come down and make an appointment and start. We started laying out the entire third floor. It's basically all framed out. And you start visualizing the space there, because framed out means that we are starting to put the sticks in of the parameters of the boundaries of each apartment. And the sticks are, usually you see wood and everything. We have 16-foot high ceilings, so we had to use what they call a heavy gauge metal stud. So we have now metal studs vertically and across the entire ceiling. So you can start visualizing the volume, the three-dimensionality of the space. And we put in 1 or 2 windows to show how much light and air comes in there. And it's a kind of a nice visualization. Of course, you got to wear a hard hat.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. But if you make an appointment, maybe through Jerry or through, something once
Yeah,
in a
just
while.
let me know. We'll get set up for you.
Or and we'll have like a
Take a
virtual.
tour.
We have a virtual. The 3D images are good to give the final, but it's something that when you see the feeling of the space. I mean, even on a hot day like today, the ground floor has natural air
Cool.
conditioning. It's
Yeah.
really unbelievable. These 22-inch, 24-inch thick brick walls, how they retain this certain cool vibe. It's a cool vibe, cool air, just cool air. And it's so River Lofts is moving on framing. It's starting to integrate heat pumps, sustainable systems in. Basically, I have one unit done, and basically I'm sleeping there. I mean, just about sleeping there. I
Yeah.
gotta get the final okay from the building inspector.
Well, so we're being pretty granular about this, and Tony's telling you what stage it's at. But I think a lot of the folks that are out there probably still don't understand exactly what the unique opportunity is. And I think with the all season parking underneath, that's important.
Yeah.
I think that this actual space of 1,700 square feet in a loft, the fact that they're rent to own.
Well,
Scenarios.
one person took
For one
two
person.
units of 1,500 and is making 3,000 square feet,
Wow.
which is larger than most of the homes in the entire region.
Yeah.
On one level.
That's cool.
Yeah,
Can't wait to see that.
and that's, but how you get to someplace and how you go through someplace is really the adventure, is really kind of exciting. And what I think will be exciting about River Lofts is that you enter via, like, say, a portico. You're entering into a garage, but it's not an ordinary garage. It's bordered by these beautiful columns. You enter, the lobby will be indoor. There'll be a beautiful lobby. Then that lobby goes into a brick arched, bordered Schindler elevator. The elevator takes you up these levels. So there's indoor parking. That parking will be also temperature controlled, so it'll always be at 55, 60 degrees.
Great.
So, then
And well lit. So, I
Yeah.
mean,
it's
for security
well lit.
reasons,
It's going to have most likely a valet.
a valet.
To take your car to a
I
certain
would
position.
love this.
Because even for anybody, man or woman, security is a certain point, and it's nice to have a person there.
Well,
is.
I mean,
You know,
honestly,
not instead of being a lonely garage and you're looking around.
who hasn't thought of when you're carrying groceries or something, that somebody, if they want to just knock you down and grab your groceries or something, they can do it out in the street when you're leaving the grocery store. So when you come in, if you're by the elevator, get dropped off and have your car parked for you, you go upstairs. Yeah.
Well, I mean, groceries also, there'll be a place where
Packages.
we have the packages, DoorDash, we have Amazon deliveries. A lot of people are getting, deliveries of food from the outside.
and that'll be attended.
It'll be attended. There'll be a place for the food to go and then taken up to the floor.
That's great.
All deliveries, packages during Christmas will have two types of storage, heavy bulk and package rooms.
So this really is a lifestyle, Tony. It's as much as anything else.
Yeah, because that's the way we live now. I mean, half of our shopping is done online.
Right.
A target date for the...
As soon as he gets a C of O.
We should have about a year from now, not 10 months to a year from now, we should have our first phase C of O for 20 units. And then after that, another 6 months should be the second C of O.
And
We're
there
doing
are
it in
some
two
freehold.
phases, the
There's
third
some.
floor and the first floor, townhouses. And then after that, we do the whole second floor, which will be the second phase. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
And of
so-
course, the commercials part of it too,
Well,
Tony.
the commercial part, which would really, we have a 20-foot high ceiling commercial space where I like to do the food court. Like I always said, I like to get my coffee downstairs. I like to get maybe a bakery, or maybe like I said, the mozzarella place or something like a mini Italy
Would be
would be
great.
downstairs, just so that, once in a while you get those essential goods downstairs and you bring them right up.
Yes.
Which would also have every single one of them would have facing onto Oriskany Boulevard.
Right.
So people could come in and obviously use the space. They didn't live there. That's a common space that these retail establishments
They can make purchases.
can make purchases.
Yeah.
If you have a bread shop, you come in and you
That would be
purchase your
great.
bread there, and or you can get.
Will
a
they have
coffee.
lemon cookies?
Only if Mike brings them up from Brooklyn for you.
Imported from Brooklyn.
And
Imported
maybe
from Brooklyn.
and maybe an enoteca, a place with wine, nice, you get a nice bottle of wine down there. I mean,
Yeah.
the building is almost like a natural wine cellar.
Right.
Nice water feature inside, right?
Yes.
To have water
in the
fe-
courtyard. We
the
have this
courtyard.
very beautiful courtyard that like a little bit of a Zen garden, which would then some of the room, our recreation room, maybe with a mini pickleball court or ping pong or
love it.
something.
Bocce court. I'm lobbying. I'm lobbying for bocce court.
Will you have like exposed brick walls inside the apartments?
Yeah, we just sandblasted the entire third floor. So it's not only the exposed brick, but also the exposed wood beams,
Beautiful.
steel beams,
bet.
and exposed wood
And they're
columns.
brass tipped.
That's great.
Right, and then they're going to be clear coated, with a flame spread rating, but still give off the essence of their beauty
Wow,
on the
I
wood.
cannot wait
and,
to see.
and the brick is has beautiful shades of color. It's really a wonderful looking brick.
Wow.
And by having those brick walls, of course, we had to insulate the roof, and we're exceeding R50. If you guys know what R50 is, would be about 10 inches or equivalent of rigid board insulation. So it's going to be very well insulated.
Great.
And the windows will be triple glazed.
Sustainable materials, all.
Yeah, sustainable materials all. And of course, heat pumps for heating, and
Yep.
then radiant strips, radiant heated floors.
Nice.
And in the bathroom and along the perimeter.
Wow.
And there's customization opportunities if you get in early enough and speak to Tony, who is an architect.
Yeah.
He can help you make the changes to your space. Like I know that the person that's putting together the two apartments, that one is interested in more closet space and more
closet.
whatever.
Yeah, 1920 linear feet of closet was and also a pantry.
In the pantry.
Because some people like to cook and have storage. So
Yep.
not only do you have storage in the unit like a pantry, but there will be for every apartment. There's a potential to have another storage room, 5 foot, 6 foot by 10 foot storage room, where if you want to store Christmas things or something, you have an additional storage room on the floor.
That's nice.
Yeah, so that will be also there for them.
So there's a lot of advantages, not to mention a rooftop garden and a lounge.
Yeah, the rooftop garden for certain units. Every unit has a terrace.
But you have a common area, a common lounge area.
Common lounge
Yes.
also, but
Yep.
almost I'd say just other than 1 or 2 units, maybe every unit has a huge terrace.
Which is a huge plus. I mean, the light, the air from having your own terrace is just open up to the courtyard.
Open up to the courtyard, or open up to Whitesboro Street,
Whitesboro
or open
Street.
up to Oriskany.
Yeah, depends. So
It'd be great.
it is. We're excited about it. I can't wait to move in. What was it?
Yeah, no, it's
can't wait to
gonna
see
it'll
them.
be a lifestyle. It'll be a fun place to be. Of course, we got to bring the internet in there. I'm working with hopefully this new company,
Northland or
the Pro company, NetPro.
NetPro. Yeah,
Yeah, Go Net Pro. Hopefully with fiber optics. This
real fiber, not the real fiber, not the half baked fiber.
Spectrum. Maybe I don't know, but we got to get
That's half baked fiber.
yeah, but we got to get the real deal in there because a lot of people are working.
Right, because you have the work piece of this.
I have the live work.
Right.
Ours is good for live work, so that you could work from home. You could have your
Great.
separate office space, and at the same time live there.
And those lofts are. I mean, the lofts are really. They're kind of spacious. The loft areas,
They're very spacious.
You've got a lot of room up there, so you've got your floor, and then you've got your loft if you want it. It's
would
an
love
option,
that.
and that loft to me is an office.
Yeah.
Because you have 2 bedrooms, then around, and the way they're wonderfully designed, so you got 1 bedroom on one end, 1 bedroom on the other end, so you really don't commingle with the other people if you don't want to.
Right.
But if you want to, you can. And then you have a common area, and then there's the kitchen and the open living room with the
That's on the ground floor units.
ground floor. Yeah, they're-
and there's
they're
the
beautiful.
potential on the whole third floor because the ceilings are 17 foot high in
Wow.
certain areas. So you have that potential of that upper level.
Yeah.
If you want to do it, but the River Lofts is it's a challenge though because again it's an unusual product for this whole region, and the banks over here don't quite understand that structure.
For sure.
So to convince them, you almost just basically got to build it. Thank God we have Hughes Construction, helping out with the construction and everything like that.
And they're actually a partner in this, right?
Yeah, they're partners. Yeah. They're my partners, Hughes, and they're very good. They're great, because they're helping out as a bridge between the beginning and the final financing.
And they've been really impactful in the area. If you go to Starbucks during the day, that's Kevin Hughes built that. Adirondack
great.
Food and Fuel, and which is now Buell, whatever it is. But the two
Fuel Fuels.
Yeah, Buell Fuels, but it's local gas. The two local gas venues were both built by Kevin. So, he's very good at following plans. He's very good at making sure that he maximizes the space. And he's been an asset, an enormous asset on this project.
Yeah,
That's great.
He's a great asset, and he's a local guy, you know what I mean? So it's like, when you come from the city, like a guy like me, you got to start developing great relationships, good relationships. Otherwise, I'm a deer in headlights. I'm lost, you know?
Right.
And thank God we met Jerry and Vinny, Fici, and, other people, local people around, and it just grew from there.
Right.
We have kind of like a little micro
Network.
family.
Yeah. Yeah, we have a microfilm. We cook together once in a while. We cry together. We laugh together. And, it's kind of like,
And we even argue and make up.
Yeah, we argue. It's like kind of like a family thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a unit.
We speak
Family unit.
we speak some Italian
Yeah,
every
we throw
once in a
Italian
while.
in there, some dialect, some hand motions.
I
You
love
know what I
it.
mean?
Yeah, of course.
And of course, you were with us in New York when we had a wonderful first class.
It was first class.
It was beyond first class, thanks
Yep.
to
By
Mr.
Wolfgang's.
Morali and
I know.
his
Oh yeah, yeah,
and his connections.
Yes, it was
Then
great.
Kevin from Heaven.
yeah. Kevin was
I met
there.
Kevin. Kevin was right near me.
We
I
were at
think, right
Wolfgang's
on the side, yeah.
Wolfgang's restaurant in Soho.
Yeah, yeah.
It was great.
Yeah, and it was a great experience.
It was
and,
a great
And
experience.
funny enough, there's a lot of people that are watching this that Dana was with me, and so was Laura Fuino.
Hi, Laura.
You
Is she
know, but
watching?
I hope she's out there watching. She's I don't know if she's in Rome or LA.
She's in Rome.
Either one now. I think she
Okay.
might be in LA now.
Yeah.
But her daughter just finished another film
Yeah.
in Italy.
Yeah.
We have some famous people we know.
You really do. Yeah.
Good stuff.
It was good.
All right, so that's it with the River Lofts. We're gonna have one more segment. We'll come back. I want to talk a little bit more about New York City, and then we'll end it with a little bit of talk about my book. I
Sounds
get to
good.
do that because it's my podcast.
All right.
All right,
Yeah.
take a break. See you on the other side.
Okay.
All right, back on our final segment of Valley Vibes. Tony's hanging out with us. Dana's got the mic ready, and this is the Dana-led section. So I'm going to turn it over to Dana.
All right. So Jerry has been writing on Substack or Substacks. How would you, so writing on that platform?
Right. So
your
Substack, for those of you that
articles-
don't know, is a place where authors, budding authors, people that have something to say, go on and they publish, and it's an idea place where people go to get ideas and exchange ideas.
Right.
And it's a great forum, and it's got a chat too. It's like Facebook and other social media where you can discuss specific items that people write about, and you follow people like you do on Instagram.
Right.
And so, yeah, it's a great.
But you've had a lot of
outlet.
interests in your articles, and they're all different. But this most recent one was very intriguing to me, and I know that you're writing a book, and that's kind of a little synopsis of what you're doing. That article is so. I don't know that much about racing. I know a lot about Saratoga, but not in that aspect. So I'm sure people in the audience would be interested to hear. Why don't you tell us about your article and what you're doing with your book too?
Well, the article was kind of like a short story because in a book about handicapping, it would be boring if all I had in there were pace figures and
Right.
speed figures and things that mean something to just handicappers, right? I wanted it to be an homage to racing.
Yeah.
And so there's a whole other ecosystem around racing, and there's a history around it.
Right.
And it's the place maybe where your dad first takes you to the track and you have that experience. And you go with your friends. And when you're in college, you go with your buddies and you think you're going to get rich and you find out you don't know a damn thing, And it's for my generation, the end of baby boomers, beginning of Gen X. It was very important to us because we didn't have these other kinds of gambling.
Right.
So the track was it. So I spent a lot of time in Saratoga.
Yeah.
A lot of years when I thought I knew things and I didn't. But I basically had a 35-year love affair with thoroughbred racing, and I've learned a lot. And I've gotten to the point where I think it's a critical time to try and contribute to the conversation about it, because it's not getting any more popular with young people. And it's hard to replenish them because people aren't going to the track except for Saratoga during the season,
Right.
to be seen. So what I felt like I needed to do was help people understand and demystify the races a little bit. So I started out with some short stories that would talk about our experience to the track and kind of hook people. And then it gets to pretty technical stuff about how to make yourself a better handicapper, or if you're just going to the track for the first time, how not to be a fish out of water.
Right.
You know, where the water is.
Right.
You know, so when you're there, things to look for, and some simple stuff like what post positions win most often and what kind of races. Right there, that gives you a chance to cash a ticket during the day. So that's kind of what the book is about.
Yes.
So it's anywhere from people who like storytelling to people who like racing to people who want to be better handicappers. And then the last couple of pages, the last couple of, I'll actually say chapters, get into things like exotic wagering, multi-race exotics, pick sixes, pick fives, pick fours, and strategies to put yourself in better positions to make a big score. And that's for handicappers.
Right.
That's for people that truly want to be better at going to the track on a regular basis and having a better chance to win.
Right.
So,
Interesting.
yeah. So that's the crux of the book. It's called Unlocking Saratoga.
And when do you expect that to be available?
So we're pushing for the beginning of the meet, which is July 16th.
Wow. Okay.
I'm finishing the editing right now. We have a very good partner in Book Baby. Book Baby does everything from stem to stern. I've already filed the copyright, so that was exciting. I've got
Good.
my copyright
Congrats.
already filed.
Yeah.
And I've got the manuscript done, and we're prepping it for EPUB. So I'm going through and I'm making sure that all the graphics look good, and all that, up until 3-4 in the morning doing that.
Yeah.
Because I still have a life to live. But the plan is to get the ebook onto Apple, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and other mini outlets that are specific to racing. So we'll be looking at the Daily Racing Forum, Brisnet.com, and we're hoping the New York Racing Association embraces it because it is an homage to Saratoga.
Right.
And so I don't see why they wouldn't. And they could put it up on their website,
Yep.
and people can download it. It's going to be about $29, depending on what it costs to be on the platform. So it's affordable.
Yep.
And it is truly a handicapping guide. It takes you stem to stern, everything to do with the races and how to maybe spot some winners, but more importantly, how to have a good time, how to enjoy the races.
Yep.
And I think anybody will find it a great read.
I do too.
And I hope that if you haven't had a chance to read my Substack, it's available. If you're on Substack, it's at JGK Strategic. If you're on Facebook or Instagram, I've posted it several times. You can click on it and you can get there from there and read it. And if you like it, let me know, because we need to build an army to sell a lot of books.
That's right.
All right. I didn't do this for no reason. I did it because I'm an entrepreneur and I'm going to sell some damn books.
Yeah. So congratulations in advance.
Thank you.
Jerry knows his horses.
He does.
I mean,
He's had the best teachers.
What impressed me, back in the day in Brooklyn, we always used to look at shoes, like a woman's shoes, and you could tell a lot. I mean, we used to say nice shoes.
Yeah.
Jerry impressed me one day. He goes, I study the horse's shoes. And I go, what? I know the shoes. I go, you know a horse's shoe? He goes, yeah. They wear this shoe, these ounces, those shoe on this turf. He's got that shoe. He wears a boot over here, three-legged horse
Wow.
over there. And I'm like, holy Jesus, this man knows his shoes. And he goes, if you understand what shoes they're wearing, you'll know how they're going to run. And I was so impressed
It
by
makes
that.
sense, but
Yeah, of
never
course.
thought of it.
I never thought of it either.
No,
if it's
that's
wearing
great.
high heels,
I
it's
know.
wearing flats. What's
Block
it wearing?
heels.
Louboutins,
It-
you
Yeah,
know,
you know what I mean?
Just like humans have orthopedic problems.
Yeah.
Right? Horses are animals. They're flesh and blood.
So they
have
tailor it.
orthopedic issues too, right?
Yeah.
So how do you correct orthopedic issues? With the shoes, right?
Right.
So if you look at the shoes, now obviously you have to know what the different shoes are, what they mean. No one's going to tell you. And most of the guys who are the railbirds that knew all that stuff are dead now. Because nobody goes to the rail
this
in the
is a
morning
secret
anymore to
weapon.
watch the workouts, right?
Right.
So there's not a lot of edge left. There is the shoe board. You walk into Saratoga. Here you go. Preview in the book.
shoe
All
board.
right?
Incredible.
Right?
Is
You-
it wearing Birkenstocks? Is
I
it
hope
wearing
not.
flip-flops?
There's only
Right.
one place where there's the shoe board. It's in the clubhouse. When you walk in
That's
on the
incredible.
ground floor of the clubhouse,
Yeah.
there's the main tote board that's inside. And near the main tote board to the inside, to the right, there are the scratches and changes, what they still write in. They still write them in. They're not
Okay.
like the official ones are still written in. And next to them are the shoe board. And as the shoe board. And then you have the shoe changes. And the shoe changes are
Incredible.
This is
important.
what we're talking about.
No.
A man
like
who knows his shoes.
He does.
That's it.
He
When I heard
knows.
that, that was it. He has me sold.
Absolutely.
100%.
You know, we had a very good listen. I've
You got
got
to know what you're looking
a
for.
couple of
with
my
the shoes,
clients
though.
are on here actually that follow GDL sheet,
Oh, good.
and they're on right now, and they had a pretty good Belmont at Saratoga meet because they followed me, and we had quite a
give away
nice
a lot of
ROI.
information. That's
We
good.
had a very good Belmont at Saratoga. Priming ourselves for the real Saratoga meet, which starts July 16th.
Yeah.
So if anybody wants to know anything about the book, if you have any questions, how to get it, if you want to know about it, if you want to talk to me about horse racing, I'm easy to find. I'm on Facebook, GDL.com, GDLwins.com. I'm sorry. GDLwins.com is the website. I encourage you to go there. I have a blog post there that talks about horse racing, and I update it once every week or so. And I'll be putting up a horses to watch list and a newsletter. So all that's coming your way on
Sounds great.
GDLwins.com.
Yes.
But now I'm done taking over the show because I did my piece, and Tony's still here. So I want to go back to the Riverlofts for 1 second because we were talking about ecosystems now at the track. Well, we'll talk about ecosystems in urban renewal and development, which economic development requires that one project begets another project, which rolls into another project, and you have momentum, and
Right.
it keeps rolling. It's like a stock. When you have good momentum, the stock keeps rolling. Well, it's the same thing with investing in properties and developing them. So we feel, and I say we because I'm on this team, we feel that the Riverlofts will be a catalyst for additional momentum to build out the rest of the property and create an ecosystem that would make anybody jealous.
I love that.
Go ahead, Tony. Let's tell them what that
He's
ecosystem
right.
is
I
going to
mean,
be.
that ecosystem would potentially be an additional hotel, apartment hotel, or, different types of hotel used for transient, maybe extended stay. And then also we have this unique tower that I thought it always is it's symbol to me as Gateway West. We always thought of this hotel would be the like the host to the gateway to Utica. And me and Jerry would always say, you know what, let's call this Gateway or the Gateway Hotel.
And the mayor adopted it.
And the mayor adopted it. And, it'd be kind of like this beacon that says to greet somebody. You have the doorman, you have this, the host greets you at the door. Well, we have this tower. The tower could be a beautiful tower with maybe a restaurant at the top or somewhere, but just something happening there to say, hello, welcome
Right.
to Utica. You just entered the gateway.
Yeah.
From the west. It's the Western Gateway.
Well, at Western Gateway,
Western
yes.
Gateway to
And-
Utica and to the Adirondacks. And that's important.
That is
Right.
important.
right? I mean, I guess the Eastern Gateway is 5S still on the other side coming through, but then that has the traffic circle now in the Nexus Center.
Yeah.
You're coming in from that way.
Yes.
We're in the city. Do we know 5S from, 6S? Not really. But we do know the Adirondacks is a beautiful mountain region. People are now starting to say, well, Utica, where the hell is Utica?
Right.
Well, if you're at Saratoga, you go this way. And if you're at Syracuse, you go that way. And if you're over there, you go this way. Basically, Utica is a central point to everywhere.
Right.
So you just go blindfolded. You go to the center of New York, bing. there's Utica.
Yes.
And then from there, 2 hours north, 2 hours south, 2 hours west, 2 hours east, you're, wherever, But
Right.
Utica is a very good central point. It does have a beautiful
4 hours from everywhere. It's
4 hours from everywhere. Okay, I said 2. I'm thinking of that.
No, we say that
I'm
it's-
going with the high-speed train.
It's 4 hours from everywhere.
You know what I mean? Or the way somebody,
too.
the way we drive.
Yes.
Anyway, but the thing is, on top of that, you have a beautiful train station here that's a miniature of Grand Central.
Yes.
They hold weddings there.
It's beautiful.
And that's another aspect of the city. It's like, the train station is always a greeting point for people.
right.
And you enter those, 30-foot tall columns, the old barber shop, that nice train station. I mean, it is impressive.
Right
It's
across the street
impressive.
from it right now.
Yeah,
Yep,
right
it's
across the street
impressive.
from us right now. And of course, that's also a nice impression for people that come to the city. It's not just a shack you get off the train. You're
Right.
at a really major celebration
Yeah.
point of entry.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes.
And Amtrak has full service here. They come through, but it's not just a passenger area. This is a big freight hub. There's a lot of transload here.
I hear them at night.
There.
I heard that one at 4 o'clock in the morning.
And Utica
God.
used to be back in the day,
But they do.
because of what you pointed out. Its geographic location was the hub of rail activity. Utica was like the place. Going east and west, everyone had their shops here. They all stopped. We had the old roundhouse that was on the other side of where Harbor Point is. This area was laden with railroad.
And also, I just wanted to mention also a lot of our friends from the East Village and West Village used to go to McSorley's. And, McSorley's, we used to go there, and we never knew that McSorley's tie-in was Utica, the brewery.
Wow.
I have a story.
And you could tell them the story, Jeff.
I have a story.
Go ahead, tell the story.
So,
Because
tell
I didn't
the
know
story,
I know
Jay.
my story,
Sorry.
McSorley's, with the sawdust on the floor and everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then Jerry's telling me, well, guess where your beer comes from? Hello.
Over here.
So it's 1989. I'm with Jeff
It's a very
Reed.
good year.
I'm with Jeff Reed, my college roommate, who was living on 33rd and 2nd Avenue in New York in a brownstone downstairs. And he was, anyone who knew him knew that Jeff was a drinker. He had a map on the wall of New York City, and he would put pins in it, any place where you can get a bud for $2.50. Okay. So he was a seasoned drinker. He knew where he was going. He knew what he was doing. Okay. So Jeff said one day, we're going down to McSorley's, oldest ale house in the world. Let's go. So we go down to McSorley's, we're online at, I think it was St. Patty's Day. And it was early in the day, like 10:30 in the morning. And there's a line out the door. Yeah, it was St. Patty's Day. Come to think of it. So we're waiting online, waiting. And the bouncer, starts talking to us and yada, yada, yada. And I hit the boom mic. Bouncer starts talking to us. And I said, well, yeah, from Utica. That's where I'm from. I said, Utica. Utica? He says, you're from Utica? He goes, come on over here. I said, what is people are going, where's he going? He's calling me up. I don't know. Tell me to go up there. So I go up. He goes, come on, you guys are getting in. I said, well, he goes, yeah, you got to get in. You're from Utica. I said, why? He goes, that's where we get the beer.
Of course.
Utica makes
an
our
oldest
beer.
bar in New York. I mean,
Yeah.
one of the oldest bars, Francie's Tavern, McSorley's.
so
I mean, we're
cool.
talking, action.
And we get in, we sit down at one of those giant tables with like 30 people we didn't know. And we just sat down, had a great time, had a cheese plate
There you go.
with onions and hot mustard.
Jerry
I
knows his
love-
food too.
I
You
know.
got to
I
remember,
love
Jerry
most.
knows his food. He knows the shoes. Then after
He
that,
knows the
Jerry
food.
knows his food.
Yep.
But a cheese plate, though, with onions and hot mustard, can you imagine? I mean, it's not something you think of, but
great.
it's like British cheddar,
Yeah, nice.
and that's all they
I love a
serve
charcuterie.
there.
You know that.
But that's
For lunch and dinner.
That's all they serve there. But that's the McSorley story. So
cool.
the connect. Maybe this was predestined. Tony's connection with Utica and with me and the
never know.
guys, because that could have been a prelude to it.
That's right.
Everything's 360.
That's right.
That St.
This is a
Patrick's Day
level
at the same
up,
time.
though.
We didn't know each other
Didn't
at
know
the
each
time. We
other.
might have been there.
Might have been there. 12 light, 12 dark. The bartenders bring them out. They put them down in front of you. Here you go. You order them a dozen at a time.
Whoa.
We used to bounce. Yeah, St. Patrick's Day bounce with my Irish friends. Yeah, Frank Leahy, Mike Ferber.
So it was good stuff.
Yep.
All right, so let's wrap this thing up because Tony's got a very short window. He's got more appointments, and we
He's a
need to
busy
go
man.
too. We're
I
keeping the
know.
mayor from being the mayor.
I know.
So
I gotta
what we'll
get back
do-
to work.
So for Dana and for Tony, I'll say thank you for tuning in to Valley Vibes. See you in a couple weeks, and have a good one. Buy the book.